show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
You Jenkins,
motherfucking tube.
Zone 6.
It's your boy, Rollo Jenkins. Man, it looks like the boxing world has come alive. You know, funny thing is, man, I haven't seen a lot of, videos from 78, man. I don't know what's up with 78, man. He been slacking and shit, man. Guess he's laying back in the cut, being a family man or something probably, which ain't nothing wrong with that. But a lot of new channels that I've subscribed to. Got a lot of shit popping off, man. God, man. Give a shout out to my boy Kevin Maiden, man. I really like that dude channel. He been putting out some good shit, man. Some good content, man. Just coming from different perspectives and shit, But we got a lot, man. Just a lot going on, man. We got this new Al Heyman thing going on, which I still don't understand. We got the fight possibly finally happening. We have my man's 100 grand, Keith Thurman, fighting some whack ass Robert Guerrero. Hopefully he'll get the knockout like I expect him to. We got just a lot of shit going on. But the most interesting thing that I want to talk about is the big deal. It seems like it has been a collective aligning of the moons. We got Manny Pacquiao with his Foot Locker commercial. We got the Manny movie just premiered a couple weeks ago. We got the possible fight just being signed. We got this NBC deal with Al Heyman and fucking Spike TV and the Golden Boy deal with Schaefer finally settled. We got the Canelo Kirkland fight coming up, which might be moved off of May 2nd. We just got a lot of stuff, man. Just a lot of moving pieces, a lot of parts. And my thing is, will it work? Will it all work? I mean, us nerdy ass boxing fans who are subject to all the bullshit that boxing has to dish out. We're going to be through there, we're going to be through the rain, sleet, hail, or snow. We're going to be there. We're going to make it there on time. But what about the other folks? All the other people that we're trying to get on board. How do we get them on board? Will they ever get on board? My man, what's his name? Ghetto. Shit. He, God, what is his channel name? I can't think of it right now, but he does like a PowerPoint. Zone shouted him out not too long ago, you know what I'm saying? But I was already subbed to him, before Zone even told me about him. And, he comes up with all these charts and things. And what he was saying was, which was very interesting, is the average boxing fan is an old motherfucker. The average boxing fan is my age or older. That 35-year-old range. I'm 35. I'll be 36 in September. And most boxing fans are, 30s and up. You don't find a lot of young guys in boxing. You got Quentin Ball. I'm sure he's a little younger than I am. He's probably 25 maybe. Jay Tanek, I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, I think Jay Tanek told me he was 24, 25 years old. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that, but I know JT is a little younger than me. Outside of that, all these motherfuckers on YouTube, 78. Boxnologist, he's a little younger, you know, I think he's 27, 28 maybe. So he's a little closer, but for the most part, you can't find a teenage boxing fan. You don't see no 17, 18, 19-year-old boxing fans. You go through a high school, ain't nobody talking about boxing in high school. College, nobody's talking about boxing in college. It's all these 25, 30-year-old motherfuckers and up. Me, blood, haplotype 0. We some old motherfuckers as far as demographic, as a consumer of viewership. We some old motherfuckers. So I'm wondering, can boxing rebound? And see, everybody's geeked about boxing being back on network TV and all that good shit. But this is the thing. How do you repackage the same old shit? Like, you basically repackaging the same shit. I can't put I got an iPhone 3 sitting around here somewhere that I use as an iPod. I can't put that back in the box, wrap it up all nice and neat, and give it to a motherfucker like, hey, here you go, happy birthday. That shit don't work. And I'm talking about giving this shit to a Apple fan. The Apple fan gonna be like, this some bullshit. So the non-Apple fan is really gonna think it's some bullshit. So boxing needs more than just putting this shit on network TV. And like I always tell folks about certain aspects of the game that the average person just won't take the time to follow, because let's be serious here. We live in a day and age where you pick up your phone, hold the button, and say, where is the closest craft brewery? And that bitch gonna tell you. Not show up on the screen or some shit you gotta read. It's gonna tell you the nearest craft brewery location is X, Y, and Z. So who the fuck do you think is gonna be sitting around trying to figure out the WBA regular champ, the WBA super champ, the WBA interim champ, the catch weight between two niggas who fight at 140 pounds, who's fighting at a catch weight, when it's really only fucking 6 pounds between the weight limit that they supposed to fight at and the next weight limit. So why the fuck does there have to be a catch weight anyway? Just fight at the next fucking weight limit. What the fuck is the deal? Nobody wants to fucking go through all of this shit. Having weight classes is already confusing enough, dog. Can you imagine having a conversation with somebody saying, well, why doesn't Guillermo Rigondeaux fight Vasyl Lomachenko? Well, they fight in two weight divisions. Well, how much do we weigh? One dude weigh 122 pounds, the other dude weigh 126 pounds. You mean to tell me they weigh 4 pounds different and they can't fight each other? Pretty much that's how I go. You know what I'm saying? So, the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of shit that has to be fixed, cleaned up, and extracted from boxing in order to get casual people to gravitate toward it. Because you already have obstacles that you can't even overcome. The fact that a fighter is only going to fight probably at the most generous 4 times a year. We get to see this fighter 4 times a year, and that's being at its most generous. So, in order to make up for the fact that you only get to see a dude so least amount of times in a year, you got to clean up the other shit. Why do we have over 100 champions, 100 belts, almost 20 weight classes? All right, well, we can't do nothing about the weight classes. But the fact of the matter is this. We got almost 20 weight classes And we got over 6 champions, 6 recognized guys in divisions as champions in all of these weight classes. We got almost 100 champions in the sport. We got catchweight fights. We got promotional issues. Why in the world with 2 guys who you recognize fight in the same division, then you got to try and explain to people why these 2 guys won't fight or they can't fight because this guy's with this network, this guy's with this promoter, and all of that dumbass bullshit. So even though boxing being on live TV is a good thing, it still has a lot to clean up in itself, within itself, in order to be viable to a casual person who may be somewhat interested. See, because this is the thing that we have to understand and recognize and realize, that us hardcore fans, we hardcore and we know, we gonna know. We absolutely understand that the 2 WBA champions at 168 pounds or 47 or 54 and all of that dumbass shit. We get it because we've been following the sport for 20 years. But somebody else who's just trying to follow it on a casual level, it's bad enough that they don't have a particular fighter that they can follow because he's only going to fight at its most generous 4 times a year. But you mean to tell me he's a champion, but it's 5 other champions in his weight class? So how in the fuck is he really a champion then? Like, how do we explain this to motherfuckers who kind of casual? So when with every other sport, whether it be boxing, MMA, tennis, golf, fucking darts, race car driving, horse racing, motherfucking ping pong, spelling bees, it's one champion. There's one winner. There ain't no co-champions and all this other shit. There ain't no 4 and 5 champions and all this dumbass shit that we have to go through in boxing. So boxing needs to be cleaned up on a whole different level than just being back on network TV. And also, one of the main things that I keep telling and explaining to motherfuckers, it's hard enough that you have a sport where there is no longevity, being that, let's say for instance, I live in Detroit. Obviously, some of y'all know that already, but us in Detroit had to live through a Detroit Lions 0-16 season. And you know what? They filled that same stadium up all 8 games the following year. Because the allegiance is not to the team that's on the field, it's to the jersey that they wear. Before Calvin Johnson was there, the motherfuckers was Lion fans. Before Matthew Stafford got drafted, they were Lion fans. When Matthew Stafford throws his last pass for the Detroit Lions, they're going to be Lions fans for another 20 or 30 years. Boxing doesn't have that. So you have to have the most appealing product that you could possibly have in the current time. So some might be saying, well, what do you mean? What the fuck are you talking about? Now, if you take the last Mayweather-Maidana fight being the biggest fight, of the year or whatever, a big time fight, this is the star of your sport, and he fight like that, that's what the fuck he's doing in the ring, you can cancel this shit, dog. That's why it goes to pay-per-view, because nobody wants to see that shit for real. Half of the hardcore boxing fans don't want to see it. So what the fuck you think a nigga who don't really watch boxing gonna do when they see that dude on the TV doing what the hell he did when he did it? That's a whole different story. You're on a whole different plane of ridiculousness on trying to create new fans when you see him doing that type of fight on a big stage, when you're trying to get excuse me, when you're trying to get people who don't watch boxing to watch boxing, it's you got to come better than that. You got to come correct. Vladimir Klitschko, he is the heavyweight champion. But believe you me, all of that holding and hugging and laying on the neck that he does, which is for one already against the rules, nobody wants to see that. Us as boxing fans, the hardcores, the people who understand that there are 2 WBA champions in every weight class, 4 recognized organizations in every weight class, in between weight class. Us, we understand and don't like that shit. So what the fuck do you think that some dude sitting at Hooters or Buffalo Wild Wings who's sitting there eating his food and the basketball game go off and they flick to NBC and see a fight and somebody's doing that shit that Vladimir Klitschko does? Do you think that they're gonna see that and be like, ooh, I can't wait to watch another fight? Do you think that that is gonna make a new fan? That is gonna make some dude go home and turn on the next broadcast of boxing when they want to see some boxing? Boxing is supposed to be filled with drama and testosterone. All that does is slow down anything that you would consider action in a fight. Yeah, dude might get knocked out, but in the fashion that he got knocked out wasn't exciting to the average fighter. Haplotype said something that was so it stood out to me a lot when he said this. He said a fight between 2 men is the most organically promoted thing you could have. When you just say 2 people finna fight, now you could have 2 professional fighters fighting in the ring. But if Charlie, who just spilled his beer on John's shoes, and them 2 motherfuckers get to scrapping in the 3rd row, everybody looking at them 2 motherfuckers scrapping in the 3rd row and not the 2 motherfuckers who been preparing to fight for 12 weeks in the ring. That's how organic boxing is. It's human nature. That shit been around since the beginning of mankind. 2 motherfuckers duking it out. But when you take the duking it out element out of it, when you abstract that shit and you start adding this other shit like the sweet science and all of this other shit, it takes away the drama that compels the average human being to it. When 2 people fight, most often, people want to see it. But when you take out the fighting, when you take out the brawling, the scrapping element of it, then it's no longer that organic product that Haplo was talking about. It's no longer that organic product that needs no promotion. It's no longer that product that once had boxing at the pinnacle of the sports world. It's no longer that organic product that was broadcast on terrestrial TV weekly. You take out that, you take that, the most organic thing about it, and you take that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bad enough that we got all the other shit that I mentioned, like the titles and the weight classes and the catch weights and the promoters and the networks and the who can't fight this person and this group of people and all of that shit. Then you icing on top of the cake with the taking the drama, the theater of the most basic element of 2 motherfuckers scrapping. If you extract that, part, it's like taking the sweetness out of all sweets. You know, what's a cake if it ain't sweet? You know, what is pop if it ain't fizzy? Or soda? What's a soda if it's not fizzy? You know what I'm saying? Sweet and syrupy, some bullshit. You know? Like, everything that we do has a certain main element. You know, whatever it is that you do. You know, if you like me, you know what I'm saying? You know, if I'm sitting down with D Styles having a good craft beer, we're gonna enjoy the flavors of the particular beer that we choose for that day. You know, if you take all of that shit away, if you're a craft beer drinker and you take all that shit away, you got a Budweiser. Craft beer drinkers don't fuck with Budweiser. Craft beer drinkers are like boxing fans. You know what I'm saying? And like, Budweiser is everywhere. But the thing about it is, when you have a craft beer, and not every craft beer is a beer that you're gonna like. And not every craft beer drinker likes every craft beer. But when you find what you like, that's it. It's over with. You hooked. You can't go back to the flavorless bullshit of a Budweiser or Corona or Tecate or Miller. You can't go back to it because you realize how empty and void that shit is of substance and flavor and shit. You know? I mean, I just drank me an Imperial Stout, you know? And it was different from a couple of other Imperial Stouts that I've had. But I love Imperial Stouts, you know? With boxing, what draws people to it is the embodiment of the drama of two motherfuckers letting it all hang out. And if they ain't letting it all hang out, what's the point of watching? You can watch two motherfuckers bullshit around with no problem. We've been in elementary schools or middle school or high school, or you was at the movies or a baseball game or a club and you seen two motherfuckers scrap on some bullshit. But then, again, you've also seen some great shit. We've all, let's just say, been to a titty bar. You see one girl up on the stage, you're like, yeah, whatever. You see another one, yeah, she's straight, she cool, big ass titties. And then it be that one motherfucker that come on stage. And you like, she was born to be a stripper. She is the epitome of what a stripper should be. Look at how her ass move. Look how did she just drop and do the splits off of a fucking black flip? What? Wow. And you see, and this goes with any profession, whether it be a baseball player, a football player, basketball player, hockey player, boxing. You don't want to see a dude running around the ring because everybody can play. Everybody has played tag before. Everybody has played tag. We don't want to see nobody go in the ring and play tag. That's not appealing. That is not, listen, Canelo versus Lara was a shitty fight because us as boxing fans, now us boxing fans have did some 2 million pay-per-views before. But we knew that as Landy Lara wasn't the type of fighter who garnered 2 million pay-per-views or 1 million pay-per-views. It wasn't Canelo. You know, even though Canelo did have a somewhat shitty performance when he wasn't a 2 million pay-per-view fight. But we can't blame him because the last time there was a 2 million something pay-per-view fight, the same dude was involved and we got the same kind of shitty fight. Now, I know some people gonna be on here and say, that's the sweet science. Da. But it's like that in any sport. The hardcore football fans, which people really don't say hardcore football fans, but nobody is looking for a 3-zip game in football. Baseball, hardcore baseball fans, they might want to see a pitcher's duel, 0-0 or one hit going into the bottom of the 9th inning. But somebody who just came to a baseball game because they wanted to take their kids out, they don't want to see that. That's not what they're looking for. You know, it's just different. So what I'm saying is, and everybody know how critical I am of Al Gay, man, and the bullshit he been giving us as far as our boxing content. Everybody's geeked about this NBC deal. Oh yeah, hooray, Al Heyman. Why? He's supposed to have been giving us these fights. Like, how many of y'all, like, cigar boxing, perfect example. I heard him say, this morning, I was taking my kids to school. How many people do you think went on his video and was like, that's some good shit, dog. You was taking your kids to school. Man, you should get an award for that shit. Daddy of the year, because you took your kids to school. No, that's what he's supposed to do. You don't get no award for the shit you supposed to do. You don't get no praise for the shit that you supposed to do. No, you're supposed to take your kids to school. It's good that you did it, but that's what you're supposed to do anyway. We supposed to been had Keith Thurman, Robert Guerrero. You don't get no praise for making that shit 2 years later. What? Now, like I said, people geek. Al Heyman bringing boxing back to prime time terrestrial TV. It's cool. But like I always tell people, dog, if you have Facebook, you have Facebook because you wanted to have Facebook. If you want to watch a fight, there's a billion places you can watch that shit. There's no lack of watching a fight. The Sopranos. You know about The Sopranos. I ain't got to tell you shit about it. But you know what I'm talking about when I say The Sopranos. Game of Thrones. Shameless. Homeland. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Do you think cable hinders the fact that people know about the shit? Or can find it? No. No matter what, we always find a way to watch boxing whenever we want to watch that shit. If you're an MMA fan, you find a way to watch that shit. If you're a soccer fan, if you're a fan of bowling or fishing. Matter of fact, check this out. Check this shit out. The dude that I work with, he's a dart player. And it's funny that you probably heard me mention darts when I mentioned a line of sports. You know what I'm saying? I run off sports and I always throw darts in there because I'm used to seeing darts because a dude that I work with that I'm really cool with, he plays darts. So I'm actually familiar with dart players in the game of darts from hanging with his ass. And I'm not at home looking for dart matches on TV because it's not that interesting. But I will sit and watch it with him when we at work, when he turn it on. It's okay. Sometimes I go to sleep on it. Sometimes it's a good ass match and, you know, we watch the shit and it's cool. It's not please turn this shit off type of thing. But he'll pull this shit up on YouTube and I'll sit and watch it. And it's okay. It's cool. It's all right. I'll watch a little golf. It's okay. It's cool. I'll watch it. And if I was a hardcore golf fan, I know where to find it. I know where to watch it. There's a golf network. A channel don't show shit but golf. I know where to find it at. I know how to get my fix of golf if I need it. You know? Porn don't come on free TV, but if I need to watch some, I know where to find it at. So, it's not that it was taken away from us, but it's the fact that not enough people wanted to even watch the shit. Boxing is not, the current state of boxing is not interesting enough to capture the casual fan. And remember, we talking about a person who can pick up their phone, hold a button down and say, Siri, where can I find me a bottle of KBS? And it's going to tell you. That is the attention span that you have to capture in this day and age. And Lord Canelo and Mayweather Maidana and Klitschko and Pulev can't do that. That's not going to work. It's your boy, Rollo Jenkins. Holla at your boy.
I told you give them something visual, so you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone 6. Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News. Blood boxing, blood fists, boxing beats and rhymes. Female boxing fan, Carter J. Pull counter, Joker boxing, D Styles. The whole YTBC.